Welcome to Anchor Point, the podcast from Freedom's Advocate. I'm your host, Randy Crossan. Today we're looking at an important new Supreme Court of Canada ruling about government power and the limits of what Parliament can do. And the basic message is pretty clear. Parliament cannot pass a law that prevents the courts from checking whether a government decision was made legally. The federal government was creating a program to provide jobs for post-secondary students. Government officials recommended that We Charity run the program. That raised concerns because former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his family had connections to the charity. Trudeau initially pulled the proposal from the cabinet agenda, but it later came back and Trudeau and cabinet approved it. Two MPs asked the Ethics Commissioner to investigate whether Trudeau had violated the Conflict of Interest Act. In 2021, the Commissioner ruled that he had not. Democracy Watch challenged that decision in court. And this is where the case gets interesting. The Conflict of Interest Act contains a section that said the Ethics Commissioner's decisions were final and could not be reviewed by a court except in limited circumstances. The Federal Court of Appeal then said that the Act prevented it from hearing Democracy Watch's challenge. So the case went to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court said Parliament could not prevent the courts from reviewing government decisions. The court said government officials get their power from laws passed by Parliament or a legislature. The laws also set limits on that power. So if there's a question about whether a government official has gone beyond those limits, the courts have a constitutional role in reviewing that decision. That is what judicial review means in this case. It means a judge can determine whether the official had the legal authority to make the decision and whether the law was followed. The Supreme Court found that the section protecting the ethics commissioners from court review was unconstitutional because it went too far. And that has implications beyond this particular case. Governments across Canada give powers to minister, regulators, tribunals, and other public officials. Those powers come from laws, and those laws have limits. The Supreme Court has now made it clear that a legislature cannot completely shut the courts out when the question is whether government power was used legally. For Democracy Watch, the case now goes back to the Federal Court of Appeal. The court will consider the challenge to the Ethics Commissioner's decision. So the Supreme Court has not decided whether Trudeau actually violated the Conflict of Interest Act. What it has decided is that the government cannot make a law that puts the exercise of government power completely beyond the court's review. In short, they can't make laws to protect themselves from the law. And that's the bigger story here. Government power is not unlimited. Thanks for watching. I'm Randy Crossan, and we'll see you next time.